The spirits just wanted me to kill someone. They said just don't leave out when I kill anyone.
In the winter of 1993, the nation's capital was already grappling with a violent crime wave, but no one was prepared for what came next. Over the course of 47 terrifying days, a mysterious gunman stalked the streets of Washington, D.C., wielding a 12-gauge shotgun with chilling precision. This is the story of James Swan, the man behind the madness and the dark psychology, missed warning signs, and investigative challenges that allowed a spree killer to roam free far too long. In a city gripped by fear, the hunt for the shotgun stalker was on.
Get in Columbia Heights.
Entire neighborhoods were in fear. People didn't want to walk the streets. Kids didn't even want to sell dope out here. I mean, everybody was gone.
By the end of 1993, D.C. saw a total of 496 murders. On February 23rd in Columbia Heights, the nightmare began. At around 8:45 p.m., a woman walking alone on Homemade Place was shot at through the window of a slow-moving car, but she survived. Minutes later, a 22-year-old man on nearby Oak Street was struck in the head, critically injured, left partially blind with limited use of one arm and no sense of smell. At first, police believed these were drug-related shootings and did not see a broader pattern.
There was very clear sign that witnesses said that he drove by in a car, he pointed a gun out, and he shot. Well, what does the car look like? Do you have any tag numbers?
Just 3 days later, on February 26th, a masked man walked into a barbershop on the 3400 block of 11th Street Northwest and opened fire with a shotgun. A 58-year-old man by the name Julius Bryant, known as Jack, was murdered as he was seated in a barber's chair. Another man was also wounded, but he survived the shooting. On April 9th, Metropolitan Police Department arrested an innocent man near 11th and Lamont Street Northwest and charged him for the homicide. Two weeks later, on March 4th, the stalker returned, shooting another pedestrian on Homemade Place. This time, the victim was a 43-year-old man, shot in the head but survived, avoiding brain damage. Again, the police wrote this off as just more neighborhood drug gang warfare. The family's protestations of innocence were disregarded.
Despite 7 drug-related killings in D.C. in recent weeks, police say there is no evidence of a drug war. The violence may be evidence of increased drug activity in the city.
The situation changed abruptly on March 17th when a 23-year-old woman was hit by shotgun pellets from a passing car, which left her partially blind, losing vision in her right eye. This shooting was similar to the February 23rd shooting, but now in Mount Pleasant. This changed the calculus. Shootings and drug wars may be normal in Columbia Heights, but that's not the case in rapidly gentrifying, upscale, low-crime Mount Pleasant. Almost a month after the first shooting, police began to wonder if there was something exceptional taking place. Still, they speculated that the victim perhaps just happened to be standing in the crossfire between warring drug gangs.
Time during the latter part of February, first part of March of 1993, we had not made the specific linkage of the various crimes. The media would report the crimes individually, until such time as we were certain that we had some similarities that we felt comfortable with, we were not going to link the cases.
On March 23rd, exactly 4 weeks after the first shooting, the stalker struck again, this time killing Elizabeth Bessie Hudson, 28, as she walked her dogs in an alley paralleling Park Road in Mount Pleasant. This was outside of the black community on the far west end of Mount Pleasant, between 19th Street and Rock Creek Park, far away from any street gang disputes in Columbia Heights. For the first time, the MPD realized that they had a random shooter in the neighborhood, gunning down perfect innocents, and they connected this series of shootings to the first incident on Holmead Place.
You said you had a police car 2 blocks away from where Betsy Hudson was shot. They didn't hear the shots?
These people live in the Mount Pleasant, Columbia Heights neighborhood. They're scared and they're angry. 5 people have been shot or shot at in the last month by someone who drives up, levels a shotgun, and then fires. Tonight, D.C. police held a neighborhood meeting that attracted such a large crowd it had to be held outside. Residents wanted to know why it took police so long to connect these random shootings.
How they could have warned Bessie.
The only person who could momentarily quiet the crowd was Bessie Hudson's father.
Take back your city. This is your city.
The chief of police finally, after several days, I dare say almost a week, did come out, drive the community in his car with a driver, wearing a bulletproof vest, never got out, never talked to anybody. The mayor was even worse. She let almost 3 weeks go by before she even came out to the community. And I mean, I can't maybe properly convey to you how people were just panic-stricken.
One evening, a woman saw a blue Toyota as she parked across the street from her home, and she waited in her car for that vehicle to disappear before getting out to walk to her house. She later associated the Toyota with this shooter. On April 4th, the stalker took another shot, once again at a woman walking alone on Holmead Place in Columbia Heights. She was injured but survived the shooting.
So I'm crossing the street, and I ain't getting no farther than here. And that's when he said, "Remember me?" And I'm like, I don't know you. But see, he looked serious, like he wasn't playing. And I'm like saying to myself, what did I do? I don't know this man, and I'm dead. And he pulled the trigger. And where I got the reflection, I don't know how fast it happened, but I caught it here. And stood on my head, I'm looking right in the barrel. I lost my elbow, and when they put me in the ambulance, they cut me right there to keep the pellets from spreading. And I still got some in my arm, and I had some in my neck, but they picked them out with tweezers. And I was pregnant. I was glad that I could hold my baby with both arms, and I was 5 months pregnant.
On April 10th, he returned to Holmead Place, committing a drive-by attack, shooting at 3 pedestrians in turn, killing one 35-year-old Edwin D. Fleming.
Seen at Holmead Place and Monroe Street long to know this was the work of the shotgun stalker. The weapon of choice, again a shotgun. The victim, again picked at random. The suspect, again in a blue car, and the location, again, Columbia Heights.
I saw the guy walking, then I saw the little blue car. I saw the little blue car pull up. And then he rolled down the window, pulled out his gun, looked like a sawed-off shotgun, and shot him in the head.
Tonight, police are on the lookout for a bluish-green 1990 Toyota Tercel with paper tags in the window.
On April 19th, 2 months after the first shooting, the stalker returned to Columbia Heights, taking shots at 3 pedestrians in broad daylight, even as hordes of MPD officers patrolled the area. On 13th Street, a 61-year-old woman, Nello Hughes, was shot dead. In total, this was the stalker's 15th attack and 4th homicide.
I mean, I've never seen nothing like that in my life. People were actually scared after, say, I guess 8:30, 9 o'clock at night, Central Time, back time, to come out, even if you want to walk over to your neighbor's house. Wasn't nobody on the streets. Nobody. Wino, straight people, whatever. It was clear right in the neighborhood, and that was very unusual.
That afternoon, the stalker, leaving the scene of this last shooting, ran a red light on Kenyon Street at Sherman Avenue. An alert MPD officer, though off-duty riding on Sherman Avenue, spotted the blue Toyota with paper tags and followed it south to Florida Avenue. The driver darted into a parking lot at Atlantic Plumbing Supply where he was trapped. Officers found a freshly fired 20-gauge shotgun lying on the back seat of the now infamous blue Toyota Tercel. Connected the driver, James Swan, ballistics linking him to the shootings.
I accelerated my car down to come right alongside the police officer before the light turned green, blew my horn and wound my window down, and I told the police officer, who I did not know, hey, look, I think we got the shotgun stalker. Can you come back me up? I placed my car in the front of his, and I was in civilian clothes, and he evidently just thought I was Joe Citizen, and he had put his car in reverse and started backing up. The officer said, what's going on? I said, I'm gonna lock him up. He said, yo, you gonna lock him up? I said, yeah, I'm gonna lock him up for traffic. So I got the handcuffs and put him on him from the back, and told him to lay on the ground. Once I laid him on the ground, I told him, I said, you know, this is not for traffic.
Over roughly 8 weeks, Swan carried out 14 drive-by shootings across Columbia Heights and Mount Pleasant. 4 killed, 5 injured, and he reportedly fired at or threatened several others with no injury. James Swan, a former security guard from Iselin, New Jersey, claimed he reportedly heard voices in his head, including the ghost of Malcolm X, commanding him to kill people in Northwest Washington, the civil rights side of town, out of vengeance for the civil rights leader's 1965 assassination. He underwent psychiatric evaluation and was diagnosed with schizophrenia, schizotypal personality disorder, major depression with psychotic features, and later narcissistic personality disorder. Swan drove back and forth here from New Jersey and New York to do his violence, and I guess he just came down 16th Street and turned off, choosing our neighborhoods more or less at random.
I hear voices, I talk to the powers of creation, I see angels, evil spirits, demons, I see all these different types of spirits.
This group of forces that he thought were occupying his body and communicating with him were telling him that there was a part of Washington, the Northwest section, that was occupied by the civil rights people, whatever that is, and that Malcolm X was insistent that he kill civil rights people in that neighborhood.
Did it matter to you who was?
No, this spirit just wanted me to kill someone. He said, just don't leave out when I kill anyone. So we won't leave you alone.
You have to think about whether it killed good people or bad people.
No.
So
I was too far gone.
He used a 20-gauge shotgun that he had purchased just under a year earlier at a Kmart in Oxon Hill. After a stint in the Navy, he moved in with his sister at a Temple Hills, Maryland apartment complex. Neighbors remembered him as a strange man who frequently paced the sidewalk, muttered to himself, and shouted at squirrels. Prior to the shootings, Prince George's County Police confiscated his shotgun after an incident which was later returned. It all made no sense. Swan was declared not guilty by reason of insanity in 1994 and committed to St. Elizabeth in Southeast. We can only hope that he remains today held safely in confinement in a mental hospital somewhere.
We nonetheless considered whether it would be viable to ask a jury to find him guilty, despite the views of 8 doctors. We ended up concluding fairly quickly that it would not be viable. And indeed, that left us no alternative but to concede his insanity defense.
Today, Swan was found not guilty by reason of insanity. That means he'll be committed to St. E's instead of going to jail. 8 psychiatrists examined Swan. All 8 ruled that he was a paranoid schizophrenic.
how long do you think this would have gone on if you hadn't been caught that time?